So if you're looking into getting a pair of wireless earbuds from Sony, there's definitely a lot to take into consideration because all of these earbuds have different cases, they all fit very differently, and they all have different feature sets. But today we're going to break down Sony's current wireless earbud lineup as of summer 2021, which consists of the WF-XB700s, the WF-SP800Ns, and the WF-1000XM4s. Regarding pricing, the WF-XB700s are the most affordable earbuds here, retailing for $130. However, I would only consider picking these earbuds up if they're on sale for $70 or less. Then there are the WF-SP800Ns, which have a retail price of $200, but these earbuds do like to go on sale for $100 or so from time to time. And finally, there's the big daddy, the Sony WF-1000XM4s, which have a retail price of $280. But knowing Sony, I do expect these to go on sale from time to time as well. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these earbuds up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to learn more about any of these earbuds, please watch their full reviews because we're only going to be going over the main differences here. Now, first let's talk about these cases because case size is very important when you're trying to choose a pair of truly wireless earbuds. Now, the SP800Ns have the largest case here. It has the largest footprint here and it is fairly thick. So this case is very noticeable when it's in your pocket. Now, the XB700's case does have a slightly smaller footprint than the SP800N's case. However, since the XB700's case has a triangular side profile, technically, this case is thicker than the SP800N's case. So overall, this case is also very noticeable when it's in your pocket. But then there's the Sony WF-1000XM4's case, which is definitely an improvement from its predecessor, and it isn't super noticeable when it's in your pocket, which is great. However, this case is a little larger than your AirPods Pro's case and the Galaxy Buds Pro's case. But nonetheless, you can definitely daily carry the Sony WF-1000XM4s without them taking up all of the space in your pocket like these other two cases. Now, when it comes to battery life, the XB700s have an advertised combined battery life of 18 hours. The earbuds themselves can go for 9 straight hours and the case can supply 1 additional full charge. Overall, battery life on the XB700s gets the job done, but I do gotta point out that battery life on these earbuds is a little below average, and given their case size, I wish their case could supply 2 additional charges instead of just 1. But then there are the SP800Ns and the WF-1000XM4s, which both have active noise cancellation. And with their active noise cancellation turned on, the SP800Ns have an advertised combined battery life of 18 hours, whereas the WF-1000XM4s have an advertised combined battery life of 24 hours. But with the active noise cancellation turned off, the SP800Ns have an advertised combined battery life of 26 hours, whereas the WF-1000XM4s have an advertised combined battery life of 36 hours. So with the WF-1000XM4s, you are getting a much longer battery life in a much smaller package. But besides a longer battery life, the WF-1000XM4s are the only earbuds here that have wireless charging. Now, personally, I don't really care about wireless charging on my earbuds, but I do want to point it out either for people who have a phone that supports power sharing, or if you've already invested in multiple wireless charging mats. But now let's talk about the earbuds themselves. Regarding fit, all of these earbuds fit very differently from one another. Now, the XB700s fit like your standard pair of in-ear earbuds, as in they go into your ear canal a decent amount, like let's say either the Galaxy Buds Plus or Sennheiser CXs. Overall, the XB700s should fit most people just fine. But then there are the SP800Ns, which also fit like a standard pair of in-ear earbuds, but they also have optional ear fins. So if you're looking for something with a very secure fit, then you might want to go with these. But then there are the WF-1000XM4s, which I feel their fit isn't going to be for everyone. Now, the WF-1000XM4s are also a pair of in-ear earbuds, but unlike these other two earbuds which are using silicone ear tips, the XM4s only come included with foam ear tips. Now, these foam ear tips do a great job of conforming to the shape of your ear canals, offering better lockdown and passively blocking out more noise than these silicone ear tips. However, personally for me, these earbuds do get very itchy very quickly, and even the smallest ear tips that come included with these earbuds are pretty big. So overall, I think both the XB700s and SP800Ns are going to fit most people just fine, whereas the XM4s might not be for everybody. Now, when it comes to connectivity, the earbuds on both the SP800Ns and WF-1000XM4s each establish a connection with your phone. So if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you can use either one. And this is the connection setup that we expect to see from our earbuds nowadays. Whereas with the XB700s, Sony claims that each earbud establishes a connection with your phone, but my earbuds are behaving as if they're using a Hero and Sidekick setup, meaning that one earbud, the Hero earbud, in this case the left earbud, actually establishes a connection with your phone and then relays that connection over to the other earbud. So if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you gotta use the correct earbud, or in this case, the left earbud, the Hero earbud. But more importantly, when it comes to performance, all of these earbuds have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. And when it comes to audio codecs, both the XB700s and SP800Ns are using SBC and AAC, whereas the WF-1000XM4s have support for SBC, AAC, and Sony's own LDAC. But now let's talk about actually listening to music with these earbuds. For starters, the XB700s are the only earbuds here that don't connect to Sony's headphones app, meaning that you're stuck with the stock bass heavy EQ on these earbuds. Now, the XB700s are a part of Sony's extra bass lineup, meaning that these earbuds have more of an emphasis on bass than most other earbuds out there. And yeah, these earbuds definitely have a lot of bass to them. However, the bass on these earbuds can sometimes get a little muddy, and in order to prevent these earbuds from sounding super shallow, it's clear that Sony did put an emphasis on the mids and highs so that you can still hear the vocals over all of their bass. However, sometimes the vocals can get a little tinny and the rest of the instrumentals do end up getting jumbled up. So really, with these earbuds, all you end up hearing is bass and vocals. Now, if you're a bass head, these earbuds can get the job done. But if you're looking for a more neutral sound signature or better instrument separation, then you'll want to look elsewhere. But then there are the SP800Ns, which overall are people pleasers. They have good instrument separation, their highs never get tinny, and they have a good amount of bass to them. And through Sony's app, you can customize their EQ to your liking. Now, with their stock EQ, these earbuds are a little bass heavy, and that's probably because these earbuds are technically meant for working out. But if you're looking for a more neutral or vocals-focused EQ, these earbuds can definitely deliver. And overall, I say these earbuds sound and perform identical to the Sony WF-1000XM3s. But finally, this leads us to the WF-1000XM4s. Now, performance-wise, the WF-1000XM4s have the same instrument separation and the same soundstage as the XM3s. However, the main difference on the XM4s from the XM3s and SP800Ns is that the bass on the XM4s hits much harder and it also resonates deeper. Now, with their stock EQ, the XM4s also have a bass-heavy sound signature, but just like the SP800Ns, you can always customize their EQ to your liking. Overall, both the XM4s and SP800Ns are people pleasers, and they perform pretty much the same. Except the bass on the XM4s hits much harder and resonates deeper. So if you really want a lot of good sounding bass, then you might want to go with the XM4s. Now, when it comes to controlling your media, the XB700s are using physical buttons. The right earbud is used to skip through your music and to activate your voice assistant, whereas the left earbud is used for adjusting your volume. And personally, I like that you can adjust your volume directly from the earbuds themselves. But then there are these other two earbuds which are using touchpads. Now, these touchpads are strictly tap-based and they're easy enough to use, and through Sony's app you can customize the layout of these touchpads. However, I do gotta point out that the XB700s are the only earbuds here that don't have proximity sensors, meaning that they won't automatically pause your media when you take them out of your ears. And personally, I do feel that this is a noticeable inconvenience. And finally, if you're an Android user, the XM4s are the only earbuds here that allow you to activate your Google Assistant with just your voice by saying, "Hey Google." whereas with these other two earbuds, you can only activate your Google Assistant by pressing and holding either on their touchpad or on their physical button. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on the WF-1000XM4s and the SP800Ns. Now first, I do want to taper expectations here. The ANC on these earbuds isn't going to block out as much noise as a proper pair of over-ear ANC headphones, like either the Bose NC700s, Sony WF-1000XM4 headphones, and especially the AirPod Max. However, I will say that the WF-1000XM4s are getting really close to blocking out as much road noise as the 1000XM4 headphones. However, when it comes to chatter, they're still pretty behind. Now, overall, the Sony WF-1000XM4s are my top-ranked ANC earbuds. They block out more noise than the Jabra Elite 85Ts, which also block out a lot of noise. They block out more noise than the Sennheiser Momentum 2s and AirPods Pro, which I feel are neck and neck, and they block out more noise than the Galaxy Buds Pro. However, like I mentioned earlier, their fit might not be for everyone because of their foam ear tips, which can get very itchy very quickly, or they could just be too big for some people. But the foam ear tips on these earbuds does give them an advantage because they passively block out more noise than the silicone ear tips found on all of these other earbuds. But then there's the active noise cancellation on the SP800Ns, which just don't block out anywhere near as much noise as the WF-1000XM4s. They can block out some road noise, but that's pretty much it. And for comparison's sake, the active noise cancellation on the SP800Ns blocks out less noise than the Galaxy Buds Pro and Beats Studio Buds, which don't block out all that much noise either. But like I mentioned in the past, I only use the active noise cancellation on my earbuds when I have to, and what's really important to me is the quality of their ambient mode. Now both the XM4s and SP800Ns have good sounding ambient modes. They both sound very natural, and they both do a really good job of blocking out wind noise when walking outdoors. However, the XM4s also have this extra feature called Speak to Chat, which works like this. Hello there. So this is Speak to Chat. Basically, when I start talking, the earbuds will automatically lower the volume of your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you so that you can talk to someone without even to have to touch the earbuds themselves. And then the earbuds will go back to normal, either if you're quiet for a preset determined amount of time, which you can set through the app, or you can tap on the touchpad like this. Now personally, I'm not a really big fan of Speak to Chat because I found that it's very easy to accidentally activate it. So it just ends up interrupting either your music or your podcast. So personally, I just don't use Speak to Chat. And personally, I do feel that just taking one earbud out when you're going to talk to someone works best. But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, in general, Sony does struggle when it comes to their microphones. But I do gotta say that the SP800Ns have the best sounding microphone here for a quick phone call while in a quieter environment, because all of these earbuds also struggle when it comes to blocking out ambient noise. Now, the microphone on the XB700 isn't the worst, but it also isn't the best. Now, this microphone isn't as clear as the SP800Ns, but I do think that it's good enough for a quick phone call as well. But finally, I do gotta say that the Sony WF-1000XM4s have the worst performing microphone here. It sounds the most shallow, and there is a noticeable amount of static in the background. So personally, I just wouldn't take phone calls with these earbuds, period. And I really hope that Sony fixes this microphone through a future firmware update. But with all that being said, all three of these earbuds are very different from one another. The WF-XB700s are a very basic pair of earbuds that cover the essentials. They have a decent enough battery life that gets the job done, they have a stable Bluetooth connection, and they fit well. However, just keep in mind, these earbuds have a very bass-heavy sound signature to them, which you can't directly change because they don't connect to Sony's app. Then there are the Sony WF-SP800Ns, which have a lot of features for a pair of mid-tier earbuds. They sound really good and you can adjust their EQ to your liking. They have a good sounding ambient mode, they also have a decent battery life, and they also fit very well. And they have those optional earphones if you want a more secure fit. However, just keep in mind, the active noise cancellation on these earbuds really doesn't block out all that much noise, and if you're planning on using these earbuds as everyday carry earbuds, their case is pretty big. But finally, there's the Sony WF-1000XM4s, whose case is way smaller and you also get a much longer battery life. The WF-1000XM4s also have a lot of hard-hitting bass if you're into that, and the active noise cancellation on these earbuds blocks out a ton of noise. However, just keep in mind, the fit of these earbuds might not be for everybody. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.